Hello everyone, I'm Laurie Radke, President and CEO of the Greater Green Bay Chamber. I'm so excited to share with you, I get an opportunity to have a community conversation with Mike Alexander, Chancellor of the University here in Green Bay. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to learn a little bit about the university, the connectivity to the business community, and a little bit about Mike on a personal level. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Community Conversations. It's my honor to share with you a conversation with our Chancellor from the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay, Mike Alexander. Chancellor, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
And it's a beautiful day, and I'm just looking forward to having a conversation, learning more about you and really your role and obviously the huge impact the university has on our community. So I know that you've had an opportunity to live in other communities and other states. Could you share a little bit with us why Greater Green Bay is so special to you?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, it is, I think it has an amazing spirit. I think it is really lucky to have incredible natural resources that surround it. It's a beautiful place to live with a really interesting history, and I think a really bright future. So that's why I'm, very excited to be here.
Well, that's wonderful. And I've had the privilege of working with you directly, indirectly. You're on our board. And I really see your passion for not only you, but your whole university outwardly facing and serving the community and really being engaged. I see people that are working on your teams out in the community at events and just being really part of the community. Can you share with me why that's so important to you in your leadership role?
Yeah, so to me, it's everything that higher education should be. Right? So we shouldn't just say we're relevant and important, we should show it, right? And you have to do that in a lot of ways other than just doing the great teaching that we do. I think people assume that. I think that we also want to make sure that every person in Northeast Wisconsin understands why UW Green Bay is important to Northeast Wisconsin. And giving back to the community is, our success is completely dependent on the success of this region, right? And vice versa, right? And I see it as a connected system that's working together. And that's why it's so important that we, first of all, understand our community. That's also really important, right? We have to understand what's happening in our community to better serve it.
And I appreciate you using the word connected because I see you making so many different connections with different partners, different industry sectors. I see you being so visible in the community, and I think that speaks volumes for not only saying it's important, but actually showing everyone really how you value that. And I know that you're really active talking with students, right? Students see you and know who you are. Can you share with me what you share with them, why the university is a special place and why they should be attending your university?
So I think there's lots of reasons. That's I could take the rest of the interview probably talking about that,
Probably.
But I think I would say I'd boil it down to a few things. I think one, that we're a university that is really focused on student success and on access. And understanding from each student what their goal is in higher education, right? And that's a difficult thing. It sounds simple, but that is not easy, right? Every student comes to the UW Green Bay with a different goal in mind.
They're all unique, and you're treating them that way, so that's very special.
Right, we're trying, right? And so how to think about that in the education that we provide, in helping that student see how their previous experiences contribute to what they're doing while they're at UW Green Bay, and how they can take those experiences and help their communities when they leave UW Green Bay. So it's one of the great thrills I get to do in my job is to hear the community and then also be able to talk to the students about how they can help support their community.
That's wonderful. And as a past graduate, I can share with our listeners that what you're saying is so true and so relevant. I wasn't a number. I felt like I mattered. I could participate in class and resources were available to me. And so, I'm one of the people that can say that you walked the talk, and I had such a fabulous experience at the university. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good. We have a lot of proud alumni, which is
you do.
Great. Yeah,
you do.
That's important. Yeah.
So how long have you been the chancellor?
For just over 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Wow, time goes by so fast.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah. Could you share like one or two highlights that kind of stick out in your mind during that 3-year time frame?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, there's several, so it's hard
There's
to
a
distill
lot,
it.
actually, so it's a big question, like.
But I do think there are two, I think, that I would say that are sort of endemic of how the university is thinking and trying to move forward. One, I hate to go back to the dark days of COVID,
Right.
but I think the way the university stepped up during that time to be a resource for the community, both as a place for testing and for vaccinations. In essence, we had a massive hospital on our campus.
On campus. So it wasn't just the university. I mean, you really opened up your doors to everyone and made
Correct.
what your resources available
Right.
to everyone.
Yep. And we partnered to be able to make that happen and to really think about how, again, if part of the role of the university should be solving the region's problems, right? And that was a big step. I think the other one is pretty recent, but the announcement that we're the first university in the state of Wisconsin to do direct admission with the Green Bay Area Public Schools.
Phenomenal program.
And that is really important because it leans fully into our access mission.
Right.
It's us really stating, I think very boldly, that we believe there's a place in higher education for every student. Right? It's not going to be the same for every student, right? But to be able to have a student be able to raise their hand and say, okay, here's what I'm interested in, and be able to talk to us directly. Right? And then to think, okay, well, what are your options here? What's the right way to start? Is it a degree? Is it just a class? Is it a non-credit offering? Or what are the things? How can UW Green Bay be a part of your life as you go throughout your career?
That's wonderful. I mean, so many new initiatives that really increase access for everybody and treat everybody and meet everybody where they're at as a starting point. So you've been in education for a while. Could you share with us really what you see that is changing so dramatically, maybe in the last 3 to 5 years, really just from an educational component?
Yeah, so I think for a long time, most universities tried to be relatively the same. They had different resources and they had different scope, but they had pretty much the same, they were going after pretty much the same students. They were trying to, it was pretty home. If you looked at one university to the next, you maybe wouldn't be able to tell that much of a difference.
Okay.
Right? I think recently people have started to really start to differentiate what they're good at. Right?
And what a benefit for the consumer, right?
Correct. Right.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then to think of this, I think as you said, to think of this through the eyes of the consumer.
Right.
Right? So how does a student want education? We know it's convenient for us how to offer it. That's convenient for us. But can we think of this through the eyes of a student? And when I say student, I think this is important because I'm not just thinking of an 18-year-old.
Right.
I'm thinking
lifelong
about
learners.
Right, lifelong learners. Is the student still in the K-12 schools, and how can we work with the K-12 schools, like we're doing with our Rising Phoneix program, to be able to support rural education? Right, to think about, okay, what are the resources that our rural schools are struggling with, and how as we as a university can be part of the solution? How can we look at a student who's in the workforce? Right, or professionals in the workforce, right, that doesn't even know they're a student, right, and to have them think about what education can do to advance their career. And then how do we think about what, especially after COVID, right, how does an 18-year-old coming out of high school, what are they looking for in an educational experience? And to try to examine it through that lens as opposed to just our lens. Can
you share a little bit about your Rising Phoneix program?
Yeah, so sorry, I think I got ahead of the thing, but it's
the Rising Phoneix to hear more about it.
Yeah, the Rising Phoneix is, to me, one of the most exciting things that we've done in the last few years, which is to think about what students don't view themselves in higher education and why. And then think about, if it's a resource issue, can we provide them the resources that they need to be able to have a credential by the time they leave high school? So the Rising Phoneix program gives students, they graduate with an associate's degree, actually a few weeks before they get their high school degree. And they get that at no cost, right? We partner with school districts and communities to make this possible. And the student wins, right? They come out of high school with both an associate's degree and their high school diploma. They can then leverage that to further their education for a lot less money. Or they could go into the workforce with their credential that helps them. Right, that help them.
Fantastic. That's wonderful, and I'm sure if you want more information on that, we can make sure that's available or resources on your website.
On the website,
too,
yeah.
If you're looking for more partnerships.